Hi guys, welcome to the Cozy Reverie podcast. My name's Trisha, and today we'll be diving into some quotes from Brianna Weist. Some of my favorite quotes, mainly from the pivot year, because you guys, I've read, I think, all of her books. I've read Saltwater, I've read Ceremony, I've read The Mountain Is You. Really, the book that got me into her was The Pivot Year. So, I actually read 101 Essays to Change the Way You Think back, I think, in 2022, and I did not care for it at all, you guys. I was like, everyone's talking about this author. What's the deal? I was thinking it was going to be one thing, it was another. I was not impressed. I moved on, and then I tried her again with The Pivot Year a couple of years later, and it was life changing. I was like, I love this book. I want to read it again and again. And I've highlighted so many quotes in it. It's definitely my favorite. So, we're gonna dive into a few quotes from the pivot year and just dissect them and chat about them. So, the first quote is, once you introduce a new thread into the fabric of your reality, it is all different. It is all changed. Instead of thinking you have to reinvent yourself all at once, shift one tiny aspect of your existence and watch as the simple act of that victory becomes a wave of transformation that will pierce through your life as a whole. End quote. So, the point of this one is essentially, sometimes we feel the need to change our lives, and we don't have to completely change them. We don't have to quit our job and move to a different country and divorce our spouse or whatever. And sometimes maybe that is what you need. Maybe like once in a lifetime change, do a major change in your life, a complete overhaul. You only live once, right? But I think maybe not the divorcing your spouse thing, maybe like go to couples therapy or whatever. But I think more often than not, what we need is small, consistent changes in our lives, like setting better boundaries or going to bed earlier or waking up earlier or adding a tiny new tidy routine into our life or whatever it is that you need to make these tiny improvements versus completely changing your life, because it's the tiny things that add up that really make all the difference. The next quote that I have is, nurture and engage in the most stunning aspects of yourself. Give the majority of your time to your greatest strengths. You are not here to simply compensate for your weaknesses, to level yourself out in every possible direction. You are not here to grow the parts of you that were never destined to come fully into form. End quote. I love this one and it resonates fully and completely. So when I look back to the times in my life where I felt the most flow, the times in my life, I guess you could say, were the happiest times, the best times of my life, it was when I was nurturing my passions and nurturing the things I was good at and the things that I wanted to grow in. And I wasn't trying to compensate. So, for example, I was really good at music and languages in high school. And I was not good at sports, but I didn't care about sports. And I wasn't going to try to care about sports and force myself to do all these things. I loved the creative arts and I took all the creative classes. I took photography. I did a play with the theater kids. I took every class you could think of that was creative. And I nurtured all of those things and loved every moment of it. And I think I became a really cool person as a result of that. And then, it wasn't until maybe I was a little bit older that I thought, okay, well, maybe I should focus on the things I'm not good at. And it just never goes well because then you're trying to like carry all of this weight that isn't yours to carry and just drop it. You're going to feel lighter, you're going to feel better, and you're going to be more confident if you just focus on the things that you're good at and that make you shine. Now, there's nothing wrong in being a well-rounded person. Like maybe you aren't so good at cooking and you want to go take a cooking class. Like Go for it. Yes, we all need to be good at cooking. We all need to have at least some basic cooking skills. And there's nothing wrong with being well-rounded, but you don't have to be the best at everything because you can't be the best at everything. It's better to know one or two things very well and then know a little bit about everything else, but you don't have to be the best at everything. The next quote I have really punctuates those statements. It says, "You become who you really are when you start choosing the things that you actually find meaningful and worthwhile." End quote. This is exactly what we've been saying. You actualize and you become and you shine and you level up when you follow what it is that you truly want to do. Now, in contrast, I'll read another quote. So, if it feels wrong with your fullest conviction, don't do it. Even if it will disappoint some people, even if it will interrupt the trajectory you thought you needed to be on, even if it will scare you, even if it will call into question everything you thought you knew before, even if it feels wrong. If it feels wrong with your fullest conviction, don't do it, because one day you will look back and realize that there is a difference between fear and intuition. One you can reason with, the other stands firm. When you find that firmness within you, honor it. It is a guide from deep within and far beyond. This is extremely meaningful to me because there have been times in my life, there's really one major time when I did not listen to my intuition and I made a really big life decision around it. And my life crumbled after that, not because of the decision, because I could have always fixed that. I mean, in a way, I could have always fixed that. But the point is, you lose trust in yourself when you don't follow your intuition because your intuition's always right. And so then I like stuck with this decision that I knew was wrong. And I was like, well, there's no point in changing it now because I already made the decision. But it just is a slippery slope. You want to follow those little nudges, and you're going to know what I'm talking about when it happens in life. You know, when you know, kind of thing. And it takes a long time to rebuild your trust once you have lost it within yourself. So, the best way to prevent losing trust in yourself is simply to listen to your intuition and listen to your own inner guidance. The next quote: "What if the real growth, the real journey, the real glow up was when you stopped waiting until you transformed into the most flawless version of yourself and instead began to care for the person you are right now?" End quote. We are all obsessed right now with becoming unrecognizable, and this winter arc that starts in October when it's 80 degrees outside. You guys, come on. I'm all for the winter arc, by the way, and I'll probably do an episode on that, but I'm not starting my winter arc until it's closer to winter. Um, the point is, we don't have to become unrecognizable to love ourselves. We need to start loving the person we are now. We don't have to, again, completely change ourselves to love ourselves. I think we get so caught up in these massive transformations when really all we have is now. So invite some more acceptance into your life of yourself, of who you are now. That doesn't mean you can't work towards change or work towards a goal, but maybe invite a little more softness with yourself and lovingness of who you are now. And it will open doorways into change. It sounds counterintuitive, but the more you love yourself now, the more timelines will open for you to transform, if that makes sense. The next quote, your environment will be one of the single most important elements of your life's journey, and it's your job to plant yourself somewhere you can actually expand, you can actually connect, you can most easily step into the person you really want to be. This is so important. You guys, sorry, end quote. This is so important in every aspect in life, from your job to your friends to your relationship. And I get it. Sometimes we don't feel like we can choose our jobs. Sometimes we're just taking whatever we can get. But as we evolve and as we grow up, there are certain environments that if you put yourself in that environment, you can see the end result. You can see how those people are ending up. You can see where their trajectory in life is. I am really blessed. I work at this job where everyone is pretty much happy to be there. Everyone is super caring for each other. Everyone's very honest. For the most part, it's above board and just amazing set of people. And I feel like I grow there. And it's really hard, I think, to find places like that to work, but also just choosing your friends and choosing your influences. And if you don't have people in your immediate circle that you can find, go to the internet. The internet is rife with, influencers being their best selves for you to inspire you to be who you want to be. And that's why I'm obsessed with podcasts. I love watching YouTube. I used to watch a lot more YouTube because there were so many people on there I wanted to let myself be influenced by. But now I just love listening to podcasts and surrounding myself on the internet with people who I wish to emulate, because when you surround yourself with people more, you start emulating those people and you want to choose who you want to be like, right? All right, our last big quote here. More than a 5-year plan, you need a vision for the next hour, the next day, the next week. If you fill your immediate future with the things you know are good for you, things you know are productive, you will arrive somewhere worthwhile, even if you cannot see beyond that horizon right now. If you learn to live with integrity in the present, one day you will wake up and realize you are fully immersed in the peace you have been practicing for a very long time. End quote. I love this quote because I am not really a 5-year plan kind of person. I come up with them and then I realize there is just so much out there that I cannot plan for. And when I focus on the day to day and I focus on what I can do in the immediate future, even making year plans, like I don't know what is going to come up this next year, what's going to inspire me, what opportunities are going to come up, what blessings will land in my lap. I was just offered a job at a new yoga studio that I'm super grateful for. I was not planning on that, just kind of landed. So I think the point is to really just live in integrity and be your best self day to day. And you don't have to live too in the moment. I mean, not to the point of hedonism, of course, but living in your best self. What can you plan for the next week, maybe the next month? I'm a big fan of quarterly planning. That's about as far as I go. And I have ideas for the year ahead, but it all seems like such a blur because I really just want to focus on creating peace within every single day. And out of that peace becomes and blossoms the life that I truly want to live. There's so many blessings that will come out of the day to day that I can't plan for, things that I have not even imagined yet. So that's what's so exciting about living that way, is everything is kind of a surprise in the best way. So I want to leave you guys with a quote. Your greatest offering is not always something you do. Most often, it is a person you become. End quote. And so all of these quotes are designed to help you become, and that's really it, just to become. And that's the point of life, is to become over and over and over again. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, consider subscribing. I will come out with more content in the future. And like the episode and all the things. Leave a comment of what your favorite quote was. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk with you later. Bye.